Cello, cello, everyone. Cello again. I am not for either party, Republican, Democrat. I vote on issues. I also find in this world, everybody's been talking a bunch of crap about what Donald Trump's going to do, throw people in jail, lock them up, throw them in jail, and throw away the key. Well, me being the person that I am, you know, I'm trying to understand why people have this hate for Donald Trump, but they don't even look at what these past Democrats have done. And it's just only to enlighten you. I find this very entertaining because, here we have Kamala Harris, as California Attorney General. She spent years circumventing a 2011 Supreme Court ruling requiring the state to reduce its prison population. I mean, this woman, she didn't care what the U.S. Supreme Court said. And I don't care who she was working for. She was a lock 'em up and throw away a key woman. Now, she has a history, but y'all got such selective outrage. So this is going to be my last one because I have another event to go to. But y'all talking about what Donald Trump is going to do, but right here in your face, I'm showing you what Kamala Harris has done. And this is just a quick article. Like, this woman locked up black men and threw away the key. Okay? She did not want to listen to what the Supreme Court said. Kamala Harris was going to do what she wanted to do, and that was to lock up as many black men as possible. So don't tell me nothing about what y'all are saying Donald Trump gonna do when you got candidates that have showed you what they have done. So I'm gonna just let you listen to this last article.
Sponsor message, then we're back.
Hold on.
I've devoted my career as a surgeon to one thing.
There is a message playing.
At City of Hope, more than
Again,
1,600
this
cancer
is entertainment
specialists are
for
working
me.
towards breakthrough discoveries,
Impacting
over 100 million
They
lives
say
every year.
Biden has dropped out and Kamala has been endorsed by the Democratic Party, and that might change.
Eastern Illinois, what I'm most proud of is giving you hope. Learn more at cancercenter.com.
Okay, here's the article.
How Kamala Harris fought to keep nonviolent prisoners locked up. As California Attorney General, she spent years subverting a 2011 Supreme Court ruling requiring the state to reduce its prison population. The overseeing judicial panel nearly found the state in contempt of court. Senator Kamala Harris, DCA, a leading candidate to be Joe Biden's running mate, repeatedly and openly defied U.S. Supreme Court orders to reduce overcrowding in California prisons while serving as the state's attorney general, according to legal documents reviewed by the Prospect. Working in tandem with Governor Jerry Brown, Harris and her legal team filed motions that were condemned by judges and legal experts as obstructionist, bad faith, and nonsensical, at one point even suggesting that the Supreme Court lacked the jurisdiction to order a reduction in California's prison population. The intransigence of this legal work resulted in the presiding judges in the case giving serious consideration to holding the state in contempt of court. Observers worried that the behavior of Harris's office had undermined the very ability of federal judges to enforce their legal orders at the state level, pushing the federal court system to the brink of a constitutional crisis. This extreme resistance to a Supreme Court ruling was done to prevent the release of fewer than 5,000 nonviolent offenders, whom multiple courts had cleared as presenting next to no risk of recidivism or threat to public safety. Despite a straightforward directive from the Supreme Court to identify prisoners for release over a 2-year period, upholding a 2009 ruling that mandated the same action over the same timeline, the state spent the majority of that period seesawing back and forth between dubious legal filings and flagrant disregard. By early 2013, it became clear that the state had no intention to comply, leading to a series of surprisingly combative exchanges. While Harris's ultimately unsuccessful presidential campaign saw questions raised about her criminalization of truancy and her tough-on-crime reputation during her time as San Francisco's district attorney, her role in California's prison reduction case largely flew under the radar, though it was decried at the time. As concerns grow about Donald Trump's subversion of the law, he, along with his Attorney General, William Barr, is currently defying a Supreme Court ruling by refusing to restart the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. The potential Democratic vice presidential nominee engaging in relatively similar obstinacy is jarring. Senator Harris's office has yet to respond to a set of questions from the prospect. How did Harris's office turn a simple court order to release low-risk prisoners to prevent cruel and unusual punishment into a constitutional fiasco? Federal courts seldom look to prisoner release, it's a remedy of last resort. But California was a unique case, with its uniquely awful prison system. At its height, it was stuffed to some 200% of its designed capacity. There were not enough beds or medical personnel but an extreme excess of bodies. In one prison, 54 prisoners shared a single toilet. Preventable deaths due to substandard and overstretched medical care occurred every 5 to 6 days. Suicidal inmates were locked in telephone booth-sized cages for 24 hours at a time. For nearly 2 decades, Republican and Democratic administrations essentially ignored the problem, despite constitutional protections for prisoners against cruel and unusual punishment enshrined in the Bill of Rights. Finally, in 2009, a federal district court found that no other plausible solution existed for getting the state to conform to a constitutionally reasonable standard than a forced prisoner release. An earlier pledge, given before Harris's time, to quickly build new prisons was not seen as credible, especially amid the Great Recession and California's limited finances. The district court mandated that the state enact a series of decarceration measures to reduce the prison population to 137.5% of its design capacity within 2 years. The state appealed the district court ruling, and on May 23, 2011, the Supreme Court found in Brown v. Plata that California's prison system was in violation of its prisoners' Eighth Amendment rights. Despite its relatively conservative tilt, the court identified prisoner release as the most effective method for ending the state's constitutional violation in a timely manner. The verdict split 5-4, with conservative Justice Anthony Kennedy joining the court's liberals. Upholding a lower court mandate, Kennedy wrote the majority opinion in the case, including an array of gruesome details from inside those prisons, and condemning the state for facilitating needless suffering and death, as he called it. At that
Kamala Harris again. She did not want to release non-violent prisoners that was locked up. She didn't even listen to the Supreme Court. Okay? So this is why I try to tell people all the time, stop telling me about what Trump gonna do. And these people have a history of what they have done. Y'all can miss me with all of that mess. You know, show me where Trump has refused to release 5,000 non-violent offenders. Okay. You know, they say, oh, he's talking about putting everybody in prison, giving them long prison cells. Well, Kamala Harris was doing it. She was doing it, right? I mean, she did it. She did it. I mean, the living conditions. They were locked in telephone booth-side cages for 24 hours at a time. 50 in one prison, you had 54 prisoners share a single toilet. So don't tell me about what Trump gonna do, and Kamala Harris has already showed you what she has done. This is April Showers. Peace out, everybody, and have a great day. Thank you.